All right, welcome back, traders. We're about 2 minutes here before the weekly candle close, but we can clearly see what's happening here on the tether chart. We have what looks to be like a reaccumulation, maybe a potential, inverse head and shoulders pattern. Right, this right shoulder on the 12-hour. This is a lower time frame, but what's probably going to happen is we're probably going to get an attempted push here off tether. We're probably going to see a bit of a drawdown here to start the week. There's going to be some volatility going into the FOMC meeting here across the board. That's kind of what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a 12-hour reset on the tether chart. The daily here you can also see is curling back around. The 2-day, still coming down. But when that 12-hour and that daily start to shift up, this 2-day is actually going to probably tick up. The 3-day is coming down. So I think it's a short-term move up for tether. We're going to get a bit of a drawdown. We're going to get a bit of a shakedown here, I believe is what is in the cards. That's kind of what I'm seeing. And, like your monthly still points down. So like I said, a short-term volatility here probably for the next few days. You can probably get some nice short positions in to start the week here. I think you can maybe make some gains doing that, or just sit on your hands and wait for tether to kind of top out to go into some spot long positions on some of these altcoins that are actually really beat up. All right. So yeah, the close here for Bitcoin on the weekly, this is important. All right. In terms of the momentum that we're going to confirm, we are going to confirm a weekly stochastic RSI cross. We haven't confirmed above the 20 line. I think that happens in the next couple weeks. Maybe going into October, we get this cross up and we get this momentum wave to take us higher. All right, this is kind of what I'm seeing here in the longer term over the next, maybe the course of the next month or 2 months. We usually get these cross ups roughly every 6 months on Bitcoin. Our last major cross up here was in April. So there you go. We're about 2 weeks out from that confirming a cross. Every 6 months we get that cross. The previous cross before that was actually like September, which, I guess that's, like September, October, right? So that's like roughly 6 months prior to this cross. So you can see it's roughly about every 6 and change months we get these big momentum waves that come into the market. And this is kind of what you guys should all be preparing for. This is, in my opinion, the altcoin movement we're going to see, because we're going into probably the last leg here for Bitcoin for the cycle. And so we can really see that by looking at Bitcoin dominance, right? And so we know that Bitcoin dominance is actually topped out, and this monthly momentum points straight down. And the monthly RSI is like a big rising wedge. And I think as soon as in these next couple of months, we're going to see this really drop off, right? We could even go all the way down to the 29 level on the RSI. And that's probably when you want to be exiting the market. Okay, guys. I'm here to tell you and guide you. You guys do whatever you guys want to do. But the whole point of being in crypto land is to actually really get ahead of inflation and really catch some of these asymmetric upside moves in crypto. I mean, obviously, really any asset, but I think crypto has that allure to really deliver a lot of that. We've been kind of discussing and seeing a lot of that stuff. That type of stuff happen, right? We're gonna look at some meme coins tonight and some different blue chip L1s. I think that you guys should be continuing to keep your eye on because we are in the middle of ETH. The ETH rotation into L1s right now. Solana obviously leading this cycle, and so everyone knows that. But aside from Solana, there's definitely some other opportunities. We've spoken about Avalanche a bunch. I think Avalanche is just now coiling up for its major breakout. If you look at the monthly time frame here, we're about to confirm a monthly buy signal against the dollar. That looks fantastic. Right, your monthly RSI sitting down here at a 50. Lots of room to run on AVAX in the course of the next few months here. Look at SHIB coin. SHIB is a hate to say it, but it's probably like a blue chip meme coin, right? This is a 4-year pennant in development. It looks a lot like XRP before it broke out of its 7-year pennant. It's the same type of structure, okay? And again, with the monthly momentum, crossing up, we have some months here before we start to see this really pick up, all right? And I think memes are probably the last things to run at the end of this cycle. They ran first last year in November, December. And so I think that's probably when we're going to, if you can see, I even have this marked off in November. I think that's when we're going to start to see, these meme coins really start to pop off. All right. And it should, man. I mean, this is a lot of pressure built up on this chart. This pattern is no joke. It's a really, really big pattern. You got that M shape. That M shape just completed down here. You can see, I mean, at minimum, it's probably going to, even if it doesn't break out, it's going to test up to the top of the pennant here. But I think that this is going to be explosive season. We are all going to be, through the rate cuts, and capital rotations already be underway. And you're going to see it's going to get pretty frothy, in October, November there. Okay. So this is kind of the outlook right now. I don't really see much changing. I mean, you have the charts telling you the things that you really want to see for your longer term trade setups here. Okay. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, we can look at ETH Bitcoin ratio, really just beautiful double bottom structure. ETH Bitcoin, I think eventually what it does is it goes and tests its neckline at 0.08. That's basically a double up against Bitcoin's ratio. This is really, really a juicy chart. It's still really a juicy chart. This monthly momentum here is nicely separated and still ticking up. Your monthly RSI is still down here at a 48. Lots of room to run on the ratio. You're about to break this monthly squeeze. That's excellent. So now what you guys really want to start doing is looking at assets versus ETH, right? And so that's kind of how you can gauge, is it really worth me holding this altcoin, or should I really just be holding ETH, right? And so that's kind of the sequence of things that you need to really program yourself into when looking for that next real big opportunity. Okay. Now I pointed something out in the paid group, and I personally took this trade myself. I mean, Hex. So Hex last cycle legitimately did a 10,000x. Okay, it went from 0 to 50 cents. Okay, I don't know what is this. This is not the right chart, but yeah, it's pretty absurd what this coin's set up to do right now. Okay, I mean, look where you're at on the chart. It's not like I'm telling you about this thing when it's already broken out and ripping out. Okay, it's still down here at the bottom of its accumulation range. The monthly stochastic here just is crossing above the bullish control zone of the midline. This looks like a big cup with handle, but if you look at the price action, it hasn't done anything yet. It means the price is going to accelerate at a very rapid rate once this does break this trading range. All right, and you can see the monthly squeeze here is actually insane, really insane. Okay. All right. So how does it look like versus ETH, and how does it look like versus Bitcoin, right? Because that's what we're just discussing. So Hex versus Bitcoin, it's absolutely wrecked at the bottom, right? Like there's no, look how tight this squeeze is against Bitcoin. Okay. Look at the momentum. It's guys. All right. I kind of want to rest my case here with this. This is like peak financial opportunity for an asset like this, if it actually performs, which it looks like it's going to. And you're right at the area where you could be potentially breaking out against Bitcoin. Okay, where is this going against Bitcoin on the ratio? I mean, we just look at some local levels here. All right, your first local level is like up here, right? You get this breakout. Okay, it goes up. That's a 13x versus Bitcoin. Okay, just to here. I'm not talking about like capturing up here. because that would be your next real range. And that would be probably where it does bulk of the move. That's a 63x versus Bitcoin. That's insane. Okay, that's insane. All right. I'm not a paid shill for Hex or anything like that. I'm just looking at the chart. I know it did major moves last cycle. I know Richard Hart is a big deal in the crypto community. Pulse Chain itself, they're one of the biggest ETH treasuries in the world. I think they're the 5th largest ETH holder in the world. So you can bet your bottom dollar that they're probably going to use some of that ETH to rotate into Hex, right? Because here's the Hex ETH ratio chart. In fact, right now is the time they're probably going to start doing that, because that's where it's at. This guy can maximize his ETH holdings by rotating into Hex. You understand? This is how wealth is really created, by looking at ratios. All right. And yeah, this is a long-term channel down. I'm not talking about this thing breaking out of this channel or anything like that, but it's very possible this thing can go back up to the top of its channel, right? Because why not? It's just trading within the realm of its technical setup, right? So first of all, you can see right now this looks like a what? This looks like a double bottom, all right? So just on the first go here, if this starts to get some steam, okay, it's about a 600% move, right, from basically where we're at, maybe a little bit less, like a 400% move against Ethereum. Okay, that brings you to right here, and that's actually pretty confluent with this region right here, right? That looks pretty clear. And then what you might end up forming is like a big inverse head and shoulder. Like this pulls back here, and ETH, like whatever, goes and makes its move. This pulls back into the ratio. And then you get this big inverse head and shoulders pattern, and then you make this blow off move into the top of the channel. It makes sense to me. That looks like that's what it's probably going to end up doing, right? Because everything doesn't always just blow out all at once. It happens in stages with momentum. So that's kind of something that I'm, really looking at. This is like a massive trade, I think. Okay, cool. Enough about Hex. Feel free to drop whatever tickers you guys want in the chat. I'm currently in a WorldCoin short. If you guys were following me on that earlier this evening, I don't even know if I should be still in it, but yeah. Looks like it's bouncing right off support here, so I might have to actually end up closing this trade. Yeah, we'll see. I still think that this has some downside to be had. Maybe. Anyways, we'll figure that one out later. Mudang, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we gave that call a while ago, right? Down at 4 cents or something, right? Beautiful structure. We gave this call out, I think, somewhere right around this May region here when I saw this massive inverse head and shoulder setup. Yeah, this looks absolutely fantastic on the chart. Yeah, wow, what a break and back test here. That's really nice. I think Mudang, yeah, it looks like it's going back up to 55 cents. That looks great. That looks fantastic, dude. Absolutely fantastic. Day trading advice would be appreciated. What are you day trading? It's all about levels, man. Day trading is all about levels and momentum. It's always all about that. BitUnix futures. Okay. Yeah, so, leverage trading can be tricky. I personally don't really leverage trade a lot. I'm mostly a spot trader because to me, there's enough volatility in these markets to make enough money over time here. I'm not really an advocate for people futures trading, leverage trading. You can leverage, if you're trying to short something, that's probably the best way to do it, is using futures market, but I wouldn't recommend using more than like 1x or 2x leverage. And the reason being is because assets can only go down 100%, right? Assets can go up an infinite percent, right? So that's why I think it's really not, especially if you have no idea what you're doing. I think it's really stupid to be leverage trading. I'm personally doing a trade right now. I'm actually probably getting wrecked in it because I'm not managing it right now. So there you go. I should have closed this trade prior to the weekly open here, but that's my fault. It's not anybody else's fault. But yeah, Mu Dang looks nuts. Super low time frame stuff isn't sustainable. If you have the discipline to trade the super low time frames, it can be, but you can't be greedy. That's the whole point. Like, you're leverage trading, you're looking for crazy gains and crazy whatever you're trying to do. I think that's unsustainable. Truthfully, yes, I think it's very unsustainable, and that's the allure of leverage trading. And that's how they get you. That's how they get most people. They're just going to liquidate you because you have a limited amount of capital to take these trades with, and more than likely, you're probably not risk managing correctly. All right. Okay. What's up, Bobby? What do you want to look at, dude? BNB. BNB is out. Your next major fib extension here is like $1,200. I think that you have to understand that you stayed in this rectangle range basically since May of 21. All right. So to me, it actually looks like, look at this channel. It's beautiful. It's not like you're in the middle of the channel or something. You're at the bottom of the channel, and like, you're going to probably get some crazy blow off move like that. I'm not saying it's going to $3,000 or whatever, but it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities. Maybe like $1,700, that golden mean ratio, right? It looks like it's going to do something pretty nuts. Okay. You have a 243% measured move on your range break. But these get dwarfed, man. Like, if we go look at what Dogecoin did on its 700% range, it ended up doing a 40x. Okay. This stuff is, yeah, I mean, okay. Technical analysis is a tool to help us gauge, right? So I'm going to help you gauge 242%. Yeah. It's like somewhere between the 1414 and the 1618. I hear you, dude, but you have to understand there's, for all this whole market to move, like if we look at total 3, for example, okay, total 3, which is everything excluding Bitcoin and Ether, right? For example, this monthly momentum right here, that is like a continuation structure, all right, continuation pattern. Right. And as soon as you start breaking, this 75 on the RSI, this is parabolic mania phase of the market. So we're approaching that rapidly here. All right. I don't think it's going all the way up here, but maybe longer term it will. So but to me, this probably gets to is this midline, which is about $2.7 trillion in the altcoin market. That's like $1.5 trillion coming in. That's nuts. That's nuts, right? So you sitting here and thinking that it can't go to $1,700 is stupid, because like the bigger market caps are going to suck up most of the money, right? It's not going to take a lot of money to push these really small cap coins. That's why they end up rotating later, right? That's why the mid caps run after the L1s, because it goes ETH and like whatever, the large caps, like BNB is a large cap, a blue chip cap. So it's going to suck up the major liquidity that gets rotated in first. And then it rotates down the risk curve, right? So I think BNB can easily hit $1,700 in this type of environment. Like I don't think it's something that you should think that's not possible, is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, and I'll give you a very good example. BNB long rectangle range for 4 years, right? Let's look at Dogecoin for a second. I know it's a different coin. I know it does different things. In fact, what does Doge actually do? Nothing. BNB is actually a complete utility coin, and this market is legitimately reliant on BNB because of what they do. Here's an example. Okay, January 2018 was the cycle top of the 2017 run up. It did nothing until January of 21, and you look at the measure. It's a 600% measured move. What did this thing actually end up doing, though? It did way more than 600%. It did a 5,500. It did 5,500%. Okay, a 50x on the breakout. Just to give you an example, right? The measured move of BNB was 250%. It may end up doing a 10x, is what I'm trying to say, or an 8x. All right, or more conservatively, a 5x. All right. Not trying to be a moon boy or anything, but technical analysis in crypto land can only really take you so far when you get FOMO and you get into, crazy parabolic mania phase of the market. So, but by the way, Dogecoin looks really good on the chart, like very good on the chart. Very, very good. Anyways, you guys get my drift here. All right, maker. Sure. Nice pennant in development here. You can see it. Nothing has really changed on this structure. I probably had this drawn for a while. So yeah, it's like probably a 600 or 700% move once it breaks out. Yeah, it's pointing to like 15K or something like that. And historically speaking, Maker usually trades about 1-to-1 with ETH. Historically, I mean, I don't know. It's way undervalued against ETH right now, right? It's trading $1,800, right? So, that should tell you something, all right? But yeah, this looks like it's stepping up. You got one low, the double bottom, the higher low, another higher low. Like this looks like it's about to break to about 4K. You might get a pullback right here. It may not be this steep. I'm just giving you an idea. And then you get this blow off move into the end of the year, right? That's what it all looks like. That's what it all looks like. It could be just a long-term channel like this. All right, this was a blow off top move here in 21. Yeah, so something like that. Okay. And what you got your all-time high up here on Maker around $6,000, close to $6,000. So you would think that it's going to, yeah, maybe like $12,000 or something crazy like that, which could be close to where ETH ends up, 10 to 12K in that region. So that makes sense if it's ratioing to 1-to-1 with ETH. We could look at Farcoin, yeah, sure. We could look at Pancake Swap. So Pancake Swap. Interesting. So Pancake Swap looks like a descending broadening formation. And the swing target on a descending broadening formation is the swing high. So Pancake Swap, $44 would be the swing target. And it sounds nuts, man, but that's what it is. That's what that is. That I have nothing. There's nothing bad to say about what that structure is. As soon as that thing starts to break out, you'll see. You know what? You know when you know it's going to break out? Look at Cake versus B&B. It's probably wrecked. Oh man. So Bobby, maybe you should roll some B&B into Pancake Swap here. Maybe not. I don't know. But if that range low holds on Pancake Swap, then yeah, you can maybe multiply your B&B with this trade. This doesn't look very strong right now, so I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that right now. In fact, it's actually breaking its range on the monthly. But yeah, these are all things to always look at is ratio trades, right? You know, Pancake Swap is really cheap relative to B&B is what this chart's telling you. It doesn't necessarily look that good though. I probably wouldn't do that. I would not take that trade right now. Not with this monthly looking like that. But that's why you look at these things, right? So what does B&B look like versus Maker, for example? What does Maker look like against B&B, right? So Maker looks a bit better than, I mean, all these charts are alluding to tell you that B&B is about to go on a crazy run, right? Even against Maker. Look at the ratio, right? So that this is telling you that maybe you should be heavier in B&B than Maker, for example. Right? Because, okay, yeah, right now it's at a range low. But like if B&B just starts blowing out and Maker is just sitting here and this ratio comes all the way down, right? Oops. Yeah, so just giving you an idea of how that goes and how that works. I don't think you were on the stream when I was talking about the hex ratio versus ETH. But to me, I'm just gonna show you quickly while you're here. So hex versus ETH is to me is bottomed out. Like even here's your 3-week chart. Like you're about to round out against ETH here, right? That's significant. Now B&B is obviously, been even superior to ETH. So maybe, okay, well, let's look at hex versus B&B. Probably looks like shit against B&B. Oh yeah, even against B&B, it looks great. So there you go. This looks crazy against B&B. Wow, look at this coiling, man. You see the difference of the momentum on the chart when you look at this stuff? So hex versus B&B looks absolutely insane on the ratio here. So this could be a really good opportunity to multiply your B&B if that's what you're, wanting to do. Cake has more X's than B&B probably. Yeah, I would agree with that. Against the dollar, sure. But the Cake B&B chart looks like shit. It looks like B&B is just going to continue to crush it. We'll look at Strat, yeah. Nothing to see here, man. Okay, well, you're holding the range lows, which is good. Yeah, this rejection wick candle is what catalyzed this movement down on the price on the weekly time frame for Strat. All right. Well, you are getting another weekly cross up, so that's good. All right, that could maybe catalyze your next move here. You did close a bullish engulfing candle on the weekly. That's good. All right, now you just need to see some bids come in, man, on Strat, and I think you're really getting tight here. You need a breakout, and you need to break above this 8.4 cent region. We'll look at Crow and AVAX. Yeah, we'll take a look at them. So this is the move you're looking for, Rashi. You're looking to move. You're looking for the move to break this 8.4, 8.5 cent region, where these wicks are up to, and then we can talk about higher on the price. But until we clear that, I think for now, you got some work to do. You are showing some macro accumulation, right? Your low, your same low, you're putting in a higher low. So that looks okay. Yeah, we'll look at Crow. Crow looks pretty good. You came out of this major accumulation, got this breakout. I'd be a little cautionary with your weekly here. You got some momentum that's ticked down here on the weekly. You got into some crazy heat. So some consolidation, and or pullback here for Crow wouldn't be a surprise to me at all. Maybe a retest of this breakout region, this 18-cent region here looks about where you would think it would go after this kind of move like that. After it's made these step up moves, you got big drawdowns and then a big step up move and a big drawdown. You get a big step up move and you're going to get a big drawdown. Yeah, so it's repeating the same things it's been doing. But as long as you continue to make higher lows on the macro, I think Crow is good longer term. An Avalanche. Is at a critical spot to break. It's legitimately at its pennant completion area, and I think it is actually set up to break that out. I would say your 2-day momentum still has momentum here. Your weekly chart is still ticked up. Yeah, you're in the overbought territory here, but this is when you get those parabolic moves. Okay, if you're crossed up like that, and your weekly RSI is bullish, 63. All right, you're not overbought. You are at a really, really critical inflection point here. If you don't break out, it's because you're at this critical area on the RSI right now. But you're not really in heat. You're not really in heat. Okay, so this has room to move. It can move. Right, your monthly chart here looks actually really fantastic. Lot of room to run on the monthly, higher time frames here. If it doesn't break out this week or whatever, you might get a bit of a pullback or a drawdown here. Eventually, I do think that this will resolve out of this pattern. It is also a 4-year structure. It's very nice. Fear and greed index, we can look at that. Yeah. Let's see. Fear and greed index is neutral. All right. Fark coin looks overbought on stochastic RSI. People on X are bullish. Yeah, that's probably your first mistake is listening to people on Twitter. I didn't cover Solana yet. We'll look at Fark coin real quick. This is Fark coin. Okay. The 3-day chart looks pretty good. There's not a lot of data on this coin. Yeah. It's what? It's an $800 million meme coin? Wow. Okay. Well, you can clearly see that you're holding like a macro uptrend here, which is good. It does look like a bit of a pennant. It could make a big move if this breaks north, which all of this stuff is actually telling you that eventually it could do that, right? Your 3 and 4 day momentum is just flicking back up, so that looks reasonable, reasonable enough to go up. And you can see on your bubble risk indicator here, you're nowhere near in bubble territory on this asset. It's got some upside for sure. If the market is going to present upside, then this should go up with the market. Solana is well, head and shoulders pattern is no longer valid. We actually broke that, which is good. We kind of wanted to see that happen. So again, with the nice consolidation range here for the better part of a year. So these are your, I would say your Fibonacci targets here on Solana. Your monthly momentum here is looks pretty fantastic. Okay, very nice momentum waves here on Solana. So if you're into meme coin trading on Sol, well, this could be an opportunity to capitalize on that with Solana going up. Not an advocate of that, but I'm sure there's plenty of trade setups. We just, I think, discussed one, Fart Coin. Solana looks really great. It looks really good on a high time frame here, right? Your monthly momentum just crossed up. Your monthly RSI at 66 has room to run. It's got as high as 97. That was last cycle. Okay. And they stopped it here at 79. That was when the whole market pulled back. But I would say as soon as you start breaking that 79 region, you're going to be in parabolic mania. Anything above 75 to 80 is parabolic mania phase of the market cycle. And it would be pretty safe to be exiting wherever Solana's price is as that's going on. Okay. And you can see that your bubble risk indicator is not flashing right now. It flashed in December up here. You can see it got in heat here in December of 23. And that was this big move up here to about $200. So heat indicators. What do you mean? All right, cool. Yep. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Solana looks like it's in really great shape on a high time frame here. There's nothing really to do if you've been holding this whole cycle. I think you're waiting for this blowout, these blowout moves here in the next few months, and that's it. I would say, yeah. I mean, I think $600 is viable for this asset to go up to. All right. Could go further as well. I mean, this is just one of the first major fib targets. All right. It's very nice. Virtuals, right? I think a lot of people here have the virtuals coin. or they own virtuals, maybe meme coins or AI agents or something. This also looks very good on the high time frame, like the monthly chart, even the weekly chart here, giving you that signal on the weekly for higher prices. All right, and this looks really great. I would say this is also like a bullish pennant, a massive bullish pennant. All right, and your measured move here is about almost a 600% move coming in here. So that's pretty significant. All right. What coin looks best to me? I mean, that just depends on. I think Hex looks great because it hasn't even broke out yet, and like risk to reward has got some crazy upside. I'm not saying that these other assets aren't good. They're all good. Solana looks good. I just think it's higher risk to be in Solana up here, personally. Like it's like at its all-time high already. Try to find some L1s that aren't. Like maybe the Say blockchain is probably good. This is a smaller market cap. It's 2 billion. I think that this asset they got like some SEC approval to launch stablecoins on their chain. I think that this one is definitely under the radar. Not a lot of people are talking about it. It's not getting a lot of media attention. I think this one might put a nice run in, dude. I do. Its tech is pretty quick. It's good. Yeah, I'd be looking at the major L1s right now. Maybe your mid caps. I still think INJ is pretty solid. This thing went on a crazy move here in 2024, 2023. It's a nice structure. Ondo Finance is another one that's actually probably pretty good. Not an L1, but it's a BlackRock asset, pretty sure. Chainlink, right? OG Chainlink is pretty solid. Again, higher risk because you're already up here. But let's see, just high time frame looks good. Looks like it's going to make a major move. It could make this leg up to $200. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I like Hex because of that ratio against ETH, man. It just looks so insane. And I'm not really an advocate to trade meme coins or be in meme coins, but Shiba Inu looks really good, right? We looked at the SHIB chart. That's a 4-year pattern. That's absolutely insane. Yeah, Baby. I don't know what that is, but we'll take a look at it. Babylon or Baby Swap. Which one is it? Yeah, I mentioned that we could see a bit of a drawdown here in the next week or two, while with volatility coming in with the FOMC. Okay. Babylon. All right. This coin. Yeah, so maybe you got like a bit of a dragon pattern going on here, or maybe a double bottom, rather. I would say maybe more like double bottom stuff, right? Neckline up here at 6 cents. No idea what this asset does. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, man, start breaking necklines and making higher highs, and then we can talk about higher prices. But the 3-day momentum looks good. And the weekly RSI is in the gutter. So that's definitely on your side for upside. It's a $135 million market cap, but doesn't really get a lot of trading volume. So, yeah. What else did you want? DOCN? Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, these guys, they provide like virtual private servers and stuff. Yeah, this looks fantastic on the monthly chart. That looks great. Very nice. Nice rectangle range bottom down here on this stock. Yeah, I would say that this looks really good. Yeah, you're starting to make macro higher lows here, right? Yeah, yeah, I agree. I would agree that this looks really good, man. Where this ends up, I don't know, but I mean, you could maybe longer term see, price discovery later on. Look at that volume on this monthly candle close here. It's being bought. It's being bought, right? Highest monthly volume we've seen ever on this asset. Okay. That looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Nice find. Flap. All right. Well, we've been live for almost a full hour here. Any other assets you guys want to cover, look at tonight? That's it. Well, hopefully we reserve. Yeah, I'm in a big position on that actually. I actually took some profit and rolled it into Hex and Wrap Bitcoins the other day. We can take a look at that. Sure. I think it's in a region where it needs to pull back a bit. But yeah, nice weekly candle close for that asset. Your weekly just crossed up. Very nice. I think that this has got a lot of room to run a lot higher. It's a baby market cap on Pulse Chain. For sure. This has lots of upside to be had here. Nice falling wedge breakout confirmed this week on volume, right? Very nice. Yep. So a bit of a pullback here, I think. Maybe some sideways until this resets, right? Right. Your daily here coming down. Your 2-day crossing down. So, no, I didn't use Liberty Swap. I've had capital on Pulse Chain for quite some time. I was buying wrapped Bitcoins at $80 last year, which is another, in my opinion, another really amazing performing asset on Pulse Chain. I was buying $80 wrapped Bitcoins here, and yeah, this asset also looks pretty good. Maybe not like this very second, but it looks like it's gonna be good longer term here. All right, we could see a bit of drawdown though on wrap Bitcoin here a little bit. It looks like it's trying to cross back up on the weekly, so that's good. Pay attention to that. That's your momentum right there. Okay. Cool. Let's cover the here's the wrap Bitcoin chart on Pulse Chain that I'm looking at, this long-term channel up that it's respecting, and broke this downtrend here. We can look at Fed on deck screen here that has the data. There's your falling wedge break. This is kind of your channel that you're in. You're getting this pullback right here. But I do think ultimately it could resolve itself up to 120 or even as high as a $500 million market cap later on. And the reason being, this is the first time ever that you broke your 3-day RSI. The asset is extremely bullish here on the 3-day time frame. I'm looking at market cap chart, by the way. And if you look at like the weekly RSI, this thing's at the bottom, dude. It's got a lot of room to run. Longer term here. Okay. So as long as this asset continues to step up like it's doing, I think that this thing can really go nuts. Okay. Remember, these assets are extremely volatile. Low caps like this with low liquidity. So always, practice caution. And none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Remember that, guys. I'm just looking at charts and what the charts are potentially telling me. And I just kind of act according to what I see. That's it. All right. So appreciate all you guys tuning in tonight. Hopefully it was informative. We covered the tether chart. We said maybe we get some volatility this week or two. I think it's very possible that we get a bit of drawdown going into this FOMC meeting, as there is always volatility going into those meetings. But everyone's expecting a rate cut. So that is actually a change of structure a change of dynamic for the market to adjust to. So I think there will be some pullbacks to set up for, buying opportunities, most likely. All right. Going into the end of the year here. All right. So hopefully you guys have a wonderful week. Appreciate all you guys tuning in, and make sure you guys smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you guys haven't done so already, and hit the notification bell so we can get the word out about what we do here at Swing Trade Pros. Appreciate all you guys coming in. Catch you guys next week.